There are leaders, and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power or influence, but those who lead inspire us. We follow them not because we have to, but because we want to. We follow those who lead, not for them, but for ourselves. This is an exploration of a naturally occurring pattern, a way of thinking, acting, and communicating that gives some leaders the ability to inspire those around them. With a little discipline, any one of us can learn this pattern, and we can all learn to lead. Let's travel back to the early 1900s. Samuel Pierpont Langley was setting out to be the first man to pilot an airplane. He was highly regarded, a senior officer at the Smithsonian Institution with friends in the highest places of government and business, including Andrew Carnegie and Alexander Graham Bell. He was given a $50,000 grant to fund his project, a tremendous amount for the time. He pulled together the best minds of the day, a dream team of talent and know-how. The press followed him everywhere. With his team and ample resources, his success seemed guaranteed. But a few hundred miles away, Wilbur and Orville Wright were working on their own flying machine. Their passion to fly was so intense that it inspired the enthusiasm of a dedicated group in their hometown of Dayton, Ohio. There was no funding, no government grants, no high-level connections. Not a single person on the team even had a college education, but they banded together in a humble bicycle shop and made their vision real. On December 17, 1903, a small group witnessed a man take flight for the first time in history. How did the Wright brothers succeed where a better equipped, better funded, and better educated team could not? They were driven by something different. They started with a question that the rest of the world often forgets to ask. They started with why. There are only two ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate it, or you can inspire it. From business to politics, manipulations run rampant. Typical manipulations include dropping the price, running a promotion, using fear, peer pressure, or aspirational messages. When organizations don't have a clear sense of why their customers are their customers, they tend to rely on a disproportionate number of these manipulations to get what they need. And for good reason. Manipulations work. Drop your prices low enough and people will buy from you. But this comes at a tremendous cost. For the seller, selling based on price is like a drug. The short-term gain is fantastic, but the more you do it, the harder it is to kick the habit. Once buyers get used to paying a lower than average price, it's very hard to get them to pay more. This creates a downward spiral where margins get slimmer and slimmer, forcing a need to sell even more, often by dropping the price again. Promotions like 2 for 1 or a free toy inside are another common manipulation. In the business world, it's called value added, but the principle is the same. Give something away for free to reduce the risk so that someone will do business with you. Like price, promotions work to drive a transaction, but they don't breed loyalty. Fear, real or perceived, is arguably the most powerful manipulation. When fear is employed, facts become incidental. It's deeply seated in our biological drive to survive. We see it when a politician warns that an opponent will raise your taxes, or when an ad for a health service warns of the dire consequences of not using their product. It works, but at what cost to trust? Then there are aspirational messages, which tempt us towards something desirable. 6 easy steps to a happier life. Achieve your dream body. These messages are most effective with those who lack discipline or feel they can't achieve their dreams on their own. They can spur behavior, but for most, it won't last. All these tactics can help a company become successful, but there are trade-offs. Not a single one of them breeds loyalty. Over time, they cost more and more. The gains are only short-term, and they increase stress for both the buyer and the seller. There is a big difference between repeat business and loyalty. Repeat business is when people do business with you multiple times. Loyalty is when people are willing to turn down a better product or a better price to continue doing business with you. Loyal customers often don't even bother to research the competition. Loyalty is not easily won. Repeat business, however, is. All it takes is more manipulations, but there is an alternative. The alternative perspective is a simple idea called the Golden Circle. It explains why some leaders and organizations command such loyalty and influence. It shows how they are able to inspire action instead of manipulating people to act. Imagine a target with 3 concentric circles. In the center is why. The next ring out is how, and the outermost ring is what. Every single company on the planet knows what they do. These are the products they sell or the services they offer. Some companies know how they do what they do. These are the things that make them special or set them apart from their competition. They call it their proprietary process, or unique selling proposition. But very few people or organizations can clearly articulate why they do what they do. And this isn't about making money, that's a result. Why is about purpose, cause, or belief? Why does your organization exist? Why do you get out of bed in the morning? And why should anyone care? Most organizations communicate from the outside in, from what to why. They lead with what they do and how they do it, and they expect a behavior. like a purchase. If the technology company Apple were like everyone else, their marketing might sound like this. We make great computers. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? This is how most companies sell to us. It's a perfectly acceptable pitch, but it's not very inspiring. But inspiring leaders and organizations, consciously or not, think, act, and communicate from the inside out. Here's how Apple actually communicates. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. And we happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? It's a completely different message. It feels different. All that changed was the order of the information. The second version starts with why, a purpose, cause, or belief that has nothing to do with what they do. Their products, the what, don't serve as the reason to buy. They serve as tangible proof of their cause. Here's the core of the idea. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. This is why Apple has earned such remarkable flexibility. We're comfortable buying a computer from them, but we're also perfectly comfortable buying an MP3 player, a phone, or a watch from them. It's not what Apple does that distinguishes them. It is why they do it. Their competitors, on the other hand, define themselves by what they do. Dell makes computers. So when they tried to sell MP3 players and PDAs, it just didn't feel right to us. We couldn't see them as anything more than a computer company. This isn't opinion, it's biology. If you look at a cross-section of the human brain from the top down, you'll see it's organized into 3 major components that correspond perfectly with the Golden Circle. Our newest brain, the neocortex, corresponds to the what level. The neocortex is responsible for all of our rational and analytical thought and language. The middle 2 sections make up the limbic brain. The limbic brain is responsible for all of our feelings, like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior and all our decision-making, but it has no capacity for language. When we communicate from the outside in, people can understand vast amounts of complicated information, like features and benefits, but it doesn't drive behavior. When we communicate from the inside out, we're talking directly to the part of the brain that controls decision-making, and then we allow people to rationalize it with the tangible things we say and do. This is where gut decisions come from. They just feel right. The part of the brain that controls that feeling, the limbic brain, also controls our decisions. We often trust our gut even if the decision flies in the face of all the facts and figures. Great leaders are those who trust their gut. They are the ones who understand art before science. They win hearts before minds. They are the ones who start with why. For this to work, a few things must be true. It all starts with clarity. You have to know why you do what you do. Next is discipline. You must have the discipline of how. Hows are your values, or the principles that guide you in bringing your cause to life. For values to be effective, they have to be verbs. It's not integrity. It's always do the right thing. It's not innovation. It's look at the problem from a different angle. And finally, you must have consistency. Everything you say and everything you do, your what's, has to prove what you believe. It's at the what level that authenticity happens. Authenticity is when your golden circle is in balance. It's when you say and do the things you actually believe. When we feel like we belong, we feel connected and safe. It's a basic human need. We're drawn to leaders and organizations that are good at communicating what they believe. Their ability to make us feel like we belong is part of what gives them the power to inspire us. Trust emerges when we have a sense that another person or organization is driven by things other than their own self-gain. With trust comes a sense of value, real value, not just value equated with money. You can't convince someone you have value, just as you can't convince someone to trust you. You have to earn it by communicating and demonstrating that you share the same values and beliefs. Great companies don't hire skilled people and motivate them. They hire already motivated people and inspire them. They hire people who believe what they believe. Think of Ernest Shackleton's expedition to the Antarctic. His ad in the London Times didn't say, "Men needed for expedition, good pay, great benefits." Instead it read, "Men wanted for hazardous journey. Small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful. Honor and recognition in case of success." The only people who applied were those who read the ad and thought, "That sounds great." They were born survivors. They believed what Shackleton believed. He hired for attitude, for belief. The skills were secondary. This is the difference between working on a job and working for a cause. Consider the story of 2 stonemasons. You ask the first, "Do you like your job?" He replies, "I've been building this wall for as long as I can remember. The work is monotonous. The stones are heavy, but it pays the bills." You ask the second stonemason the same question. He replies, "I love my job. I'm building a cathedral." They are doing the exact same work. But the second one has a sense of purpose. He feels he belongs to something bigger than himself. Great leaders create an environment where people feel that sense of purpose. They create a culture of trust. A strong sense of culture creates a sense of belonging and acts like a safety net. People come to work knowing that their bosses, their colleagues, and the organization as a whole will look out for them. This results in reciprocal behavior, where individuals make decisions and put in extra effort that benefits the group as a whole. Only when individuals can trust the culture will they take personal risks in order to advance that culture. The law of diffusion of innovations explains how ideas spread. Our population is broken into segments on a bell curve. Innovators, early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and laggards. The first 2.5% are the innovators. The next 13.5% are the early adopters. These are the people who stand in line for hours to buy the new iPhone. They are willing to pay a premium or suffer an inconvenience to own a product or espouse an idea that feels right to them. They trust their gut. The early and late majority are more practical. For them, rational factors matter more. They won't try something until someone else has tried it first. They need a trusted recommendation. This reveals a critical insight. You cannot achieve mass market success by targeting the middle of the curve. It's a recipe for expensive, manipulative marketing. To create a tipping point, where an idea takes on a life of its own, you must first appeal to the people on the left side of the curve, the innovators and early adopters. You must focus on the people who believe what you believe. They will perceive greater value in what you do, and will happily spread the word on their own. Get enough of them on your side, and they will encourage the rest to follow. This is how movements start. Think of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington. The organizers didn't send out 250,000 invitations. There was no website. So how did all those people show up on the right day, at the right time? They showed up for themselves. It was what they believed. Dr. King gave the I have a dream speech, not the I have a plan speech. He gave people a cause to rally around, a vision of the future they wanted for themselves. He started with why, and people who shared that why took his cause and made it their own. They became the movement. For a message to spread, a why needs a how. Every great visionary leader has a partner or a team that knows how to bring the vision to life. The leader sits at the top at the point of why. The how types sit below, and they build the systems and processes to make the vision a reality. Walt Disney was the dreamer. His brother Roy was the brilliant financier who built the company. Steve Jobs was the visionary. Steve Wozniak was the engineer who made the vision work. The why type is the visionary, the optimist. The how type is the realist, the one who gets things done. A vision without a plan is just a dream. A plan without a vision is just a job. But together, they can change the world. This partnership turns an organization into a megaphone. The leader is the source of the message, the why. The organization, with all its systems, its marketing, its products, and its people, is the structure that amplifies that message to the outside world. But for a megaphone to work, the message must first be clear. And that megaphone must be loud enough to reach the tipping point. The symbols an organization uses, like its logo, only gain meaning when its why is clear. For years, Harley-Davidson has been so consistent that its logo has become a symbol of a belief system. People tattoo it on their bodies not because they love the company, but because the symbol says something about who they are. To make sure you are communicating a clear message, you can use a simple filter for your decisions, the celery test. Imagine you get advice from lots of successful people. One tells you to sell M&Ms, another says rice milk, a third suggests Oreo cookies. If you go to the supermarket and buy all three, no one standing in line behind you knows what you believe. But what if you first know your why? Let's say your why is to only do things that are healthy and natural. Now you'll only buy the rice milk. It's not that the other advice wasn't good, it just wasn't good for you. When you filter your decisions through your why, you make better choices, more efficiently. And most importantly, people can see what you believe. The single greatest challenge any organization faces is success. When an organization is small, its founder is close to everything. Their why is clear because they are the source of it. But as an organization grows, it becomes impossible for one person to make every decision. Systems and processes are added. More people are hired. Slowly but surely, the clarity of the why starts to dilute. This is the split. It's the moment when the what, the growth, the revenue, the tangible metrics, begins to detach from the why. The organization is no longer inspired by a cause greater than itself. People just come to work to manage systems and reach preset goals. The passion is gone. This is what happened at Walmart. Sam Walton started with a profound belief in serving people. If you look after people, they will look after you. But after he was gone, the company's why went fuzzy. The inspiring cause of serving people was traded for the pursuit of cheap. The company became obsessed with its metrics at the expense of its soul. This highlights the difference between achievement and success. Achievement is something you reach or attain, like a goal. It's tangible and measurable. Success, in contrast, is a feeling, a state of being. Achievement is about what you get. Success is about why you do it. Many people achieve great things, but never feel successful because they've lost their why along the way. To prevent this, a founder's why must be extracted and woven into the culture of the organization, so it can live on long after they are gone. A successful succession isn't about finding someone with the right skills. It's about finding a new leader who is in lockstep with the original cause and can carry that banner forward. So where does a why come from? It's not found by looking ahead at what you want to achieve. It's not born from market research or extensive interviews. A why is a discovery, not an invention. It comes from looking back. It's the sum total of your upbringing, your experiences, the people and the events that have shaped your life. It is the one constant that has guided you, whether you knew it or not. When you know your why, a fundamental shift occurs. You no longer see yourself as competing against anyone else. Think of Ben Coman, a high school cross-country runner with cerebral palsy. He's the slowest on his team. In every race, as the pack pulls away, Ben is left far behind. He stumbles. He falls. He gets up, bruised and in pain, and keeps going. But then something amazing happens. After the other runners finish, they all turn around and go back to run with Ben. He is the only runner who, when he falls, has someone there to help him up. He is the only one who finishes his race with 100 people running behind him, cheering him on. When you compete against everyone else, no one wants to help you. But when you compete against yourself, everyone wants to help you. Ben isn't there to beat anyone else. He's only there to beat himself, to run a better race than he did last time. He starts every race with a clear sense of why he's running. Imagine if we showed up to work every day with the simple goal of being better than we were yesterday. Imagine if our only competition was who we were capable of being. If every person and every organization took the responsibility to start with why, to lead with a sense of purpose, we could collectively change our world for the better. And that is truly inspiring.